Hi there, everybody. My name is Steve Phillips. I am with iWIN Real Estate, and today we're going to be bringing you a topic that a lot of you come to us with. And I hope that this is topical. I hope that this is going to reach you because it may be something you've been thinking about. And the topic today is 5 things they don't tell you about flipping houses. Now, in my many years of real estate, I've been involved with many renovations and my own fair share of flips. And in the last 3 years, I've also had a kitchen company that's been involved with hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people that are doing renovations all throughout the Quinte and East End of Toronto, or East End of the 401 corridor. And basically what we run into constantly are people that are looking to do flips. Now, they may have seen this idea on TV. They may have been watching it and seen it on a big broadcast and thought that looks like a way to make a lot of money really quick. And what they don't realize is that there's also a lot of hidden things that nobody ever tells you about. So let's get into that list and see if maybe I can give you a little tip or a few tips that might make your next flip a little easier. So for me, tip number 1 is that flipping is a job and a business, but it is not a hobby. A lot of people get mistaken, and they believe that doing a flip can be a little side thing, a side hustle, something they can pick up as they go. But realistically, a flip is a lot of work. Even if you're not doing any of the contracting yourself, it may involve a ton of involvement just to make sure that the project goes very smoothly and that everything stays to budget. It's incredibly hard when you've never done it before to manage a renovation project. And maybe you're somebody who's managed a lot of renovation projects, but when you have a bunch of other things on the go, your focus is always spread very thin. And with families and kids and whatever else may be affecting your life, a flip may be the last thing you want to think about. So always remember, it's a job or a business, but it's rarely a hobby, okay? Number 2, flipping is not a passive way to make money in real estate. There are a lot of successful flippers out there. They make tons of money a year on flipping, but they would be also truthful in telling you it's a lot of work. It's a lot of active participation in each project. A lot of the best flippers I know have really taken advantage of the market going up, month over month over month, and they've got into just flipping paper, meaning that they get a property, they get it under contract. Before they ever swing a hammer or touch anything, the appreciation from the market has listed that property. And so now they just relist it or they sell the paper to somebody else. We've all received flyers in the mail of house buyers. Some of you out there might be house buyers sending these flyers. Those campaigns work, but they are mostly set up for wholesalers, which are flipping paper, and or somebody who's looking to find a property off market. So they're very much not a passive endeavor. They're not for long-term wealth. Once you get in and you flip that property and then you sell it and everything goes perfect, you now no longer have that property in your portfolio and you've taken the capital back out of it. So you have not done a long-term wealth building. You've actually just increased your income through a flip. So remember, they're not very passive. They're going to be active on a bunch of different levels, and a lot of people forget that. Number 3, flipping can be emotional. I've seen a lot of people, especially in the last 20 months, that have gotten into flipping and not realized how emotional it may be when the nails are flying and the hammers are swinging. It's a lot on your emotional insides, because 1, you're watching your account drop down month over month. You're just watching this bank account kind of just keep depleting as you're going through the reno and carrying costs and all of these things. The other thing that's happening for you is that, especially in the last 20 months, there's been a lot of delays on things that you really didn't expect. So all of a sudden you can't get appliances for 6 months. What are you going to do when that's your solution, or you had a plan for new appliances in your rental budget? So there's going to be highs and lows, and there's going to be a lot of emotional pull on you, especially in these harder renovation times, to really get things done, with either lockdowns in whatever area you may be, or restrictions on labor. And a lot of different things are elements that are going to be playing on you mentally and playing on you internally. And you have to just keep in track patience, level, and know what your plan is so that you get to the other side all done without going, out of control. Okay. So number 4, this kind of leads me to number 4. Nothing in renovations ever goes perfect to plan. So there may be a point in which you've got a perfect flip. Even within those perfect flips, something could go wrong. And it could be something very small, and it could be something really, really detrimental to the project. But you have to keep in mind, no matter what, that that's part of the plan. So how do you get away from that? Start building in some contingencies into your budget. What if the worst thing in the world happens? What if all that matters, or all that happens, is I'm delayed a few more months and I have some more carrying costs? What if? And start playing this game and seeing how you would answer all of those questions before you get into the flip. And then that way, once you get into the flip, you'll be able to handle whatever may come up because you're prepared and you're ready for it. And you are fully expecting that nothing is going to go perfect to plan. And so you're anticipating it. There's nothing more trying or upsetting for a person than not thinking, or thinking that nothing will go wrong. And then you get into it and it feels like everything's going wrong. And then you get a really negative point of view, and that can bleed into the rest of your life. So make sure that as you're going through these renovations or going through this plan before your flip, you realize that nothing goes to plan. And then that'll help you out a lot down the way. Number 5. Now, this is one that could be a little controversial. It's my own personal opinion on it, but I believe that flipping can play on your ego. So what do I mean by that? There was a time in my real estate career where I just wanted to be like the guys on TV flipping houses. And I felt like that would make me feel good about what I was doing. And sometimes people get caught up in wanting to emulate things that they've seen others do. That's just an ego play. Really, what you need to know is, why am I doing this? What are my whys? What are my goals? Is flipping going to contribute to those goals? And what will I do with this income once it comes in? And a lot of people, especially when a market's going up, can look like geniuses in flips. They really can. It's hard to look like you made a mistake if the market continues to double over month with appreciation numbers going up. So always remember that there has to be fundamentals, that your ego needs to be kept in check, that when you're looking at a potential flip property, how many exits do you have? How many ways out of this project do you have if the flip should go the wrong way? So there's a lot of times where you're going to get into a flip and the market's going this way. And then for whatever reason, we've seen it a couple of years ago, 2017, new implications or new implementations of laws and things by governments. All of a sudden, market takes a little hiccup and adjusts. And if you're in a flip, you're the most vulnerable. So what are your plans should that happen? Can you rent out this property? Can you cash flow on this property if you do rent it out? Are you flipping and forcing the value up so that you can get your, refi that property and pull some money or equity out of it, even though the market's starting to slide? Are you going to be in a position where even if you're into this investment, even if you're into this renovation, you can still see a way to hold off and wait for the market to adjust back up again? You don't want to be caught with hard money at 12 or 15% if you're now having to hold an extra 3 to 5 months. So always think about those things and exit strategies, multiple exit strategies out of one property to protect you from the worst case scenario. So allow your ego to be in check, to know that it may not be a flip. This property may not get sold for a year or two. So I may not be correct all the time. So what can I do to prevent myself from getting caught in a bad move or a bad decision or something like that? So always just keep that in mind, that renovations and flips are the most vulnerable when markets start to shift. So the last tip I couldn't keep off. I tried to figure out where I could put it in, but this will be a bonus 6th tip for you. And this tip is, you're not the only one with this idea. And I can't tell you how many times I've run into somebody who says, I'm looking for a flip in Southern Ontario under $500,000. Do you know anything? Have you heard of anything? Everybody is looking for that. It doesn't make you wrong. It just means that there's a highly, highly competitive market you're entering if you're looking for those terms or parameters. As a result of that, you need to remember point number 2, which is flipping is not passive. You're going to need to get involved to find those deals. You're going to have to, expand out. All realtors are looking for these deals. If somebody finds the property and it's in this category of under 500,000, that's a perfect flip, knock it out of the park, couple $100,000, there's a good chance they're going to do it themselves. So you have to remember that you're not the only one. There's lots of people involved in this idea. There's lots of people who've had this idea. And this is going to be a play that you're really going to actively have to, the hardest work is usually finding the property. And that's why a lot of people flip the paper, because that's where all the real money is when you find the deal. So I think if you're looking out there and you're thinking about doing a flip and you're contacting realtors or you're contacting somebody on our team or myself, just realize that this may take a while if you're going to go about it with this approach of just looking for something that comes up on the MLS. So these are my 6 tips. I hope they serve you well. They've served me well, and they've allowed me and my clients or people that I've interacted with to survive through flips and to make it to the other side. And ultimately, if you like the content of this video, subscribe below, leave us a comment, let us know. What do you think? What were the hardest things you went through on a flip? Be happy to hear you and respond back to you and interact, because I think flips are something that everybody needs to take into account, that they could be very useful, but they come with some risk. So these are our ideas. These are my ideas. Subscribe below. Check out our iWIN meetings. We have monthly meetings every month. We hope to see you there. A lot of them can be done virtually. So just tag in, let us know, and somebody from the team will be happy to reach out to you. Until next time, I'm Steve Phillips, and I'll see you soon.